So once Dora gets in, I'm going to turn it over to Alberto to open the space, and then we'll just see what comes through for me to share tonight. So yeah, let me get Dora in. She's still connecting. And if you feel called, please open up your video so we can see you. And also, just as a reminder, put yourself on speaker view so when we're recording that, you know, the speakers are the one on the main recording. So Beto, I'm going to turn it over to you to open our space for us tonight.
Thank you, Panachay. Lea, thank you so much for your trust. Thank you for all our sister and brother whom they commit tonight, you know, to be with you and me, and also with themselves in person, in energy, and spirit. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your sacrifice, which is very important for us today, to make this little sacrifice. Of course, you know, today, tonight, what you are sacrificing this time, it's to make, grow, and create this beautiful, you know, energy of healing for ourselves, and also, you know, absorb the connection, you know, deposit all, you know, our intention, our love, our harmony, what we want, you know, to share with our sisters and brothers, or our families or relatives, or perhaps to our students. Thank you so much. You know, I feel honored, you know, Panachay Lea, to make open this space for everyone. But every one of you, dear sister, dear brother, also open yourself, open your heart. We don't need it magic for that. If no, we need only our intention, our pure intention, our pure mind. Just, you know, this space or this time, forget everything. Just be present. Just feel, you know, yourself into your own space. Because yourself, you are going to create your own altar. I will call Pachamama Napus, the celestial beings. They are going to come to you. They will be supporting to you. Listen them, because the listen is what our sister Lea is sharing with us is the transmission. She is the bridge, you know, to open the connection with you. So it's only what I'm going to ask for you. It's only, always I do, relax, relax. We are gonna make, you know, open yourself. We are gonna to start with this, a beautiful breathing. Relax, please, put in the right position yourself. I won't be saying meditation, but if you want to do this position of meditation, welcome. If not, just put, you know, your body, your whole body, in the good and comfort, you know, comfort, feeling comfort with yourself. That's it. Okay? First, I will start, you know. Will everybody start with the breathing? Please close your eyes and one profound, deeply breathing inside. Okay? Inhale deeply profound. Feel how, this energy, it's traveling inside of your whole body. Feel how, this energy is traveling from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. Exhale now, strongly. One more time, profoundly inside. Try to retain a little bit this energy inside of you for seconds. Feel again, this energy, how it's traveling again, like a wind. This is making clear yourself. It's clearing. It's flushing down the negative things. Exhale again strongly. One more time, we are going to repeat this breathing technique. Again, strongly. Be responsible from this practice. Okay? Individually, please. Breathing. Again, contain, this earth, this energy. Keep this energy with you. Now feel how beautiful, it's opening. It's opening, energy, body, your spiritual body. Exhale again, strongly. One more time, the last one. The big, profound respiration. Feel how beautiful, it's opening your heart. Feel how your heart, it's palpitating. Feel how your heart is opening. Keep close your eyes. I will open with the Apus your heart a little bit more. In the sweet, in the sweet and loving, in the loving and the harmony, in the Aini concept. Let me do the prayer for us, for you. Kunang kaya panak pachatay kayay. Kami kanki, amarok pungkun, kami kanki kicharik pungkun. Kami kunang kaya kicharinki angkin dimension kunata. Dimension kunata, cuerpo kunamanta. Kang kamachiskan hina taytayay. Magikimanta alternikimanta. Kunang kaya kicharisun. Kicharisun ya anchi munay kancha altani kita ya. Pikunarachcha hamun kichis tatakuna. Pikunarachcha hamun kichis. Aukikuna wilkikuna. Pikunarachcha hamun kichis kankuna elementukuna. Gapalay kichis taya wakarimusa. Pachamamakuna. Nyustakuna. Chachkakuna. Kilyakuna. Hanak pachamanta pikunarachcha kankuna hamun kichis anki altarma. Konektay kuya anki waikitalia. Konektay kuya munaita sonkonta kepamanta ya kan ramparin kita itaya. Manyakushani nacido estoy kunata yapankupa. Kicharin kiya mamita linda yung pamama atu mama che tikay kita che altani kita che kuya kita che malkita mamita linda konektay kun kiya anki waikikunama. Munaita mamita linda. Nortemanta mamita linda, inti suyumanta, chinchay suyumanta, kuya suyumanta, anti suyumanta. Mamita linda anki kondorni kita ya, apunchini kita ya, picharinampa, kicharinampa. Alah rawang, unay taltuman o karinampa, liapang anki way kikunata. Kami hatun kontor, yanapay ko anki kuya. Jurari wanki kuya nyangman. Nyambi purinay kupa, kawanay kupa. Tanghina munaita. Karuta kawanay kupa nyanikuta. Chanchak nanyikuta. Nokay ko purinay kupa. Hinagatapes kang hanak pachamanta. Kang munaita chik anchay taya. Kispay ko ang kikunokay kuman. Hinagatapes kang kay pachamanta. Munaita ya. Kami cuerpo kiwang, kami kuyay kiwang, kami kalpay kiwang, munay takicharingi. Son kumachayanki, kami kanki picharich, kami kanki aisarich, kami kanki kahusayta apamok, kami mamitalin yung pamama, unay taya mamachay muhluykita. No kay kumanchayachun, chay muhluyki, kanchayta, chikayta aparimucho. Tarpuy no kay ko mamita linda. No kay ko purisa ko mamita linda. Si Diyos urmay ko mamita linda, yanapay ko ang kikuya. Ay sariwang kikuya, chutariwang kikuya. Epiriwang kikuya, malay. Nyust ako na, kang kunata wakay kiki. Nyust ako na, yapalay kitsis ya munayta. Kang nyust ako na, chutaring kichis ay saring kichis. Kang mikanki, altar ni kita kichanay kipak. No kay ko, purinay kupak. Purinay kupak, wahamunay kupak, konektay kunay kupak kang kunawang. Palay. Hawari waway kikunata yapay kuya, imayna, songkoy kuta kicharisay ko kampak. Palindo. Anchipiya, kang just akuna, chashka mamawang, munay taya chik anchay chaya mucho. Munayta, palinda, mamita linda, chik anchay ni, pawas chaskayki, munay taya chayachu, no kay anki tarpo, Anki hardin yo sut ijas sonko ikupa. Anki mangpo suay kunapi munay taya valindo tarpiku anki kuya. Inalyatapes águila kanganki. Águila munay taya rafraikiwa munay taya purikiwa. Anki way kikunataya makimwan churankiya. Jay mirisuni kitaya munayta. Paikunapes purinampak, paikunapes pichakunampak, paikunapes hampi kunampak. Anta wakarimuy ke hatun yachay, malinda, kami kan ke sacha sabiduría, kang yamunay taya, anki waiki kunaman, konki, chay merisuni kita koneksyon ni kita ya palin. Inatapes, anta wakay kamuy ke, kolya suyo manta, kolya suyo achachillas, ang kunaya hatun nasyo, ang kunaya, chay kalpata, yapay kuyaman ay kuyku. Chay yachaita, purinay kupah. Chay yachaita koneksyon ta, alinta, emiwanay kupah, emingir no kay kutat, munayta, panyamanta lo emanta, altuman purinay kupah. Unang kaya, angki munay, rimayta, angki way kikunamanta, ang chaskisako, palabray kita. Imatachakang munan kirimaita taitagay. Ang kiway kimanta. Yana pa ikong kia. Kan soportan ki. Kunang kaya songkoy ko kicharis kakasyang. Muna itaya uyari na ikopa. Hampi wanki kuya. Papalindo. Imakunaracha kasyang. No kaikupi. Imakunaracha. Chimanta. Yokimanta panyamanta. No kaikupis puriku. Kumpaikuspa. Urmaespa. Jay mantayama. Jay laru mantaya kam. Chutari wankiko. Kemeiku wankiko. Muna ita. Purina ikopa. Alinta saya na ikopa. Sachahina hatunta punya na ikupa. Hanak pachaman konekta iku na ikupa. Muna itayat, jay kausaita. Muna itayat songko ikuma hamuchun ta itagay. Rapihina pamaling no purina ikupa. Alinta. Rapihina. Ang chipiya. Liapang oy kikunata konektas na kasakuya. Alta ni kimang pachamamita. Hayaya mamalay. Hayaya apukuna. Hayaya chichillas, hayaya ángeles kuna. Kay pacha, uhupacha hanak pacha, hatun ancha pacha. Jay mantaya munaita, malchas kirisaka. Jay ananjay kita, vale. Hayaya.
Thank you.
Ano chali?
So before I teach, I want to call in the Pachamama, the Pachamamitas to hold me, ground me, support me as I speak these words. I call in Apu Ausangate as I tell our story. Hompway, 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 come be with me and sit with me and guide me on these words of the unfolding of this journey. And I am grateful and honored to be walking at this time. So I welcome everybody around the sacred fire on this equinox. And I wasn't nervous today. I'm a little nervous right now, so I might have to look at my notes. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about the equinox. And, you know, it is the balance of the light and the dark. And the place of going into the womb, which, you know, I've used the analogy ever since we started the Sacred Fire Gathering that we were up on the mountain, that Pachamama had actually put us on the mountain, especially in those early days. Even we weren't asked to be, we weren't planning on being on the mountain, but she put us on the mountain. And part of the teachings and what's being shared all these weeks has been to help us and guide us individually as we sit in that place on the mountain. And, you know, if you've ever done a quest, you go up on the mountain fasting and praying for, you know, 4 days or longer, and to get your vision, to die to your, actually to die to your current way of being, and to pray for your vision of how you're going to walk back to your life and your community as you come down off the mountain. And that's probably a simple way to explain it, but it's the easiest way to understand. And so I keep getting the sense right now, we can't just keep sitting on top of the mountain. We have to come down off the mountain. And so right now I'm sensing that we're going through the birth canal that's going to be guiding us off the mountain. And so I feel like these next few months is that place of the birth. And also looking at, you know, resting, taking care of ourselves, renewing ourselves, but also letting those parts of ourselves die away, the letting go of what is no longer serving us, so that we're connecting back deeper to the essence of who we truly are. And I feel like this time of this next level of the Pachacuti, or the big shift, or whatever language that you use, is the time to be really doing this deeper work of what we want to let go, and how we want to walk off that mountain and walk into our lives and into our worlds, and what's being called forth. And it's going to look different for all of us. And but service in our families or in our communities, or what we're being called to do. And it's a place. I look at this place of the equinox going into the fall, of really praying for that clear vision, and the deep medicine of the remembering of why we're here. Like, why did we come to the planet at this time during what's happening in the world? Like, why are we here? What is calling us? What is our journey? And those are all the questions and the things that I have jotted down about what I feel personally for myself is going on as we are at this equinox point. And as I said, I feel like going forward, as we walk in this, going into October and November, and we're heading towards, the winter solstice, and some of the astrology that's lining up on the 21st, it is about reflecting, about coming down off the mountain, like starting to move through that birth canal and how we want to be. And so part of why I wanted to share my story tonight about my journey with the Vision Quest and the calling of Ausangate has been about the birth. It was a true, I'm hoping it helps you as you are setting in this place of reflection and what's next for you in your life, because, part of the question that I've asked myself is about why have I been called to walk the journey in what's unfolded for me? But I think we're all being called in these ways. And one of the words that I want to use tonight that was really brought to me by my teacher, Marna, I work with Marta Young, who also taught around the sacred fire, is direct revelation. And because what experiences that I was having or have been having, the argument in my mind was, well, I don't know how to do this, and I'm not this, and I haven't done this training, and I haven't done that. But I was having all these experiences and these, this calling and this knowing coming through. And she said, well, you're having direct revelations, where I'm having these direct callings and direct experiences, and the flow of that path has been happening in my life for a number of years and continues to unfold. And so I'm following what's unfolding. And I finally this year let it go that, well, I haven't had all this training. I don't know a lot of the things that some of my mentors know, but there are certain things that I do know through this direct revelation, this direct connection. And so I want to share my story because I really feel like you are all probably having this same experience in some way, shape, or form. And that you can let go of any shadow voices that tells you that you can't do something. Because if I can walk the walk that I'm walking right now, you can definitely walk your calling. Because even in January or February, you told me that I would be holding virtual circles, I would have laughed. So I'm gonna tell a brief version of my calling, how Ausangate, when it came into my experience, called me. So in 2014, I got called. I'd been around Vision Quest work for many years with Cater Brown and Rites of Passage. But in 2014, I got a direct call that it was time for me to go to do my Vision Quest. And it was clear, I mean, when you get a calling to do a Vision Quest, there's no question that you can not do it, but it would be really painful not to do it. So I got really clear that I needed to go sit on the mountain. And so that was in early part of 2014. That summer before, and that summer, right around, I think it was on the summer solstice, it was right around that time, I'd done a past life retrieval with Cater Brown. And through that work that we did, my medicine name came through, and which is Thunderbird Heart. And when that name came through, it pulled everything together, because I felt this way since I was a little girl. And so the name kind of just shifted my perception, even from that space of when I was very young. So part of the journey, so I signed up for the Vision Quest on my birthday that July. So this was in June that the name came through. In July, on my birthday, July 11th, I sent in my deposit to do a Vision Quest. In late October of that year, I went to Tennessee and I released and went to die of my old way of living and to embody the journey of Thunderbird Heart. That was my intention. And while I was up on the mountain, I did a lot of releasing and letting go of a lot of personal things during that process, and even driving towards the quest. I released. I let go of a 7-year relationship that I had been in. And where I quested was in a little nook area, but then you walk down and it was a field, and there was what I call Grandmother Mountain. And so part of my process on the quest was I danced in Thunderbird Heart at the base of that mountain. And the last night that I was on my quest, we got to take tents on our Vision Quest, thank goodness. But on the last night of our quest, we had wild boars on this land, and coyotes and owls. But the last night of my quest, I was in my little 2-man tent, and a wild boar came directly up against my tent, which was very scary. At that point, I wasn't thinking about the boar being an animal guide. I was thinking about there was a wild boar getting ready to crash my tent. But he didn't. He ran off. But I had had a vision the night before come in. And so then the boar came in, and the next morning I came off the mountain. I walked down off the mountain. We came in. And I felt overwhelmed. I felt like this was so big that I couldn't hold it. And the elder set me down and told me that I got to negotiate. I didn't have to just go do whatever it was, that I got to negotiate. I got to make an agreement if I wanted to walk the journey. And so I did that. I made some like deals, like if I'm going to go do this calling, then these are the things that I need. And so I came out of the Vision Quest and had made the agreements. And then for 2 years, I kept bumping. I wasn't because the vision was I was going to take a group of people, me and a partner, a male partner, we're going to take groups of people to the base of a mountain. And so in my fantasy world, I thought I'm going to meet a man and we're going to take groups of people on vision quest in the United States. And, you know, I was like, but every time I would move towards like looking at School of Lost Borders or different vision quest programs that would certify me to do that, nothing opened up. But at the same time, the agreements that I'd made by spirit to walk this journey were falling into place. I wanted a house there, you know, I needed to be near my children. If it was calling me way far away, I needed to be able to fly home when I needed to. So all these agreements were kind of coming into place for the 2 years. But then the way, and I didn't know anything about Peru. If somebody had bet me millions of dollars when I came off the mountain that it would be connected with Peru, I would have just laughed and said, that's just crazy. So, but the brief version is I had eagle feathers that somebody gifted to me years ago, and my eagle feather connected me, and the Nustas started coming in and guided me to the Eagle Condor training with Jeff Firewalker and Ellen Kittredge. And within that training, we had a fire truck just go by. Within that training, I connected deeply to my medicine. It was an open mesa training, but the medicine started coming through the mesa. I started seeing my medicine on the mesa, which was a profound experience. But what happened in that training, and I didn't know anything about the Apus, I was Googling Nustas, I was Googling, you know, I didn't know any of this stuff. But in the this was almost a year-long training. In the third weekend, we journeyed. Part of our weekend was to journey to Ausangate, to Apu Ausangate. And in that journey, I went into the body of the mountain, and I was gifted a condor feather in that journey. And I came out of that, and so I wasn't telling anybody about these experiences, because I thought I was making these experiences up in some way. Like, you're fantasizing about this. This isn't real. But then this was in I think this happened in May, and I got really clear that I was to go to Peru. I had no money, but I had credit cards. And so I signed up for the Peru trip in June of that year, and landed in Peru. Actually, no, I landed in Peru on my 61st birthday that July. And the first day I was there, we went to Pisac, and Jeff called me over. Jeff Firewalker was leading the group, and that's where I met Beto. He was our guide. And Jeff, the first night we were there, Jeff called me over and said, "This guy's got condor feathers." And I went, "Oh my gosh, this is," you know, and again, I hadn't told anybody about my vision. So anyway, long story short, I ended up with a condor feather. And so that whole trip, it was a 12-day trip. I had a lot of experiences at different sites. Let me back up. The night before I flew out to come to Peru, I did a despacho, and I asked my girlfriend, Jen Worthington, she has taught around the sacred fire, to do like a threshold ceremony for me. So I went over to her house after I did the despacho. I hadn't burned it yet. And she said, "I think we need to do a journey." And I said, "Sure, I'll do a journey. I like journeying." So in that journey, I ended up back in that cave. I ended up in the mountain, and an old man with long gray hair and a gray beard came to me in that cave. And Jen was asking me what I was seeing, and I told her, and she said, well, see if you can connect with his heart. And so I did. And when we connected, all these people, Peruvian men, women, and children, came out of the back of the cave to greet me, like a whole bunch. There was a lot of them. They were just greeting me and hugging me. And so I left the cave, crawled out of the cave, and went home and burned my despacho. And the next morning, I got on the plane to Peru by myself and never flown internationally at all. And so then that first night, I got the condor feather in Pisac. And then I had just all kind of experiences at the different sites. But, and again, I didn't tell anybody about what I was seeing, what was happening, because I really, I thought I'm just losing my mind here, but I'm going to keep going with what I'm being shown. And so at the very last couple of days, we went to Ausangate. And so as I was walking into Ausangate, and it's like a 2-hour walk, and I'm always in the back because I'm really slow. I looked up when I saw the mountain. And when I saw how the snow was laying on the mountain, I went, oh my God, that older man that came to me in that cave was Ausangate, because I could see his face in that mountain. And I just kept walking in. I kept walking in, and I had quite, experiences up there. I had experiences at Otarongo Lake up there at the lake, and that's where I got the download on the last day of Golden Threads. For y'all, for the ones that don't know about my website and Golden Threads, and I had asked Beto to help me with Golden Threads, and he said yes. So then, I hadn't really thought about my Vision Quest vision through all this. I really hadn't. I kind of forgot about it. I went, well, I'm doing all this work with the Indian cosmology. I really didn't think about Vision Quest or anything. And so I can't remember. I think it was Beto had done a coca leaf reading that he and I were to work together. And long story short, I went back and forth to Peru several times. But in April of 2019, actually, I went to Peru. And 2 days after I got home, Jeff Firewalker from Eagle Condor called me and asked me if Beto and I wanted to take the Eagle Condor group to Peru, because he and Ellen could not. And they were going back in the summer. And I said, well, I can't go in the summer. If we get to pick our dates and the time and, like where we want to go, what we want to do, the itinerary, then let's talk about it. And he said, sure, whatever y'all want to do. So I reached out to Beto, and Beto told me he could do it. And so I just picked the dates based on what was good for me, like what worked, which was in October. And we fixed the itinerary and everything. And I was walking with my friend Lynn Bowers later on that summer, and she said, I think you were on your Vision Quest during this time, on your solo during this time. You might want to check that out. So I went home and I pulled out my calendar and the dates, and I had drawn a picture of the vision, actually. And to make a long story short, 5 years to the date of my vision of taking a group of people to the base of the mountain with a male counterpart Beto and I walked our first group in last October, 5 years to the date. So the Vision Quest vision came into manifestation on that day. And in the visions and the unfolding, we were to take a group again this last June. And of course, everything got canceled. We were going to California and do some teachings and going to Mount Shasta and doing ceremony. Everything got, canceled because of COVID. But part of what's unfolded is that we are here on the virtual sacred fire, holding the containers of the fire. So we're able to still do this work. And Ausangate is still, I can speak for me, is holding a strong container and guiding me all along this way, because part of the vision, the download that came in when COVID happened was pick up the rattle and call them in. So I think the reason for the story is to listen, to trust what's coming in for you during this time. Like what is your guidance? What are your bright ancestors? Like, what are your guides whispering in your ear and guiding you towards as we walk into this new world that's being created for us? And because my journey has been in paying attention, even if I was like thinking I was losing my mind, I finally realized that this was real, like this was really happening, and trusting the intuition and the guidance that I was getting and have been getting all along. And so my teaching is about listening to your own direct revelation of what's coming in for you and how you're being guided and called on your own journey. And so as we're in this place of the changing of the seasons, of the shift of the energies, in this womb space, as we're still sitting around the fire, we haven't walked down off the mountain just yet. Sit in that place of your center in deep prayer. Try to let go of the chaos as much as you can that's happening around you. I know everybody on this call probably has their own practices and processes, and be in that place as much as you can of the connection to the Pachamama. Make your offerings to Pachamama, make your offerings to the elementals, to the Apus, to all the ones that you are guided to work with, and be in that place of your center of remembering, of the remembering of why you're here and what you're being called forth. And I think this is the beginning for us all in what's next. And no, you might not be guiding people to a mountain in Peru, but the truth of it is we all have experiences and strengths and things that guide us and that we can offer in our families, to ourselves, to our communities. And that's why I feel like we're called to be here. So before I turn it over to Beto to speak, I'd like to know if anybody, has any questions or anything to ask or say. Just unmute yourself and feel free to speak. Anybody? And we will go to Peru next year.
Just very powerful, Lea. Thank you. There's a lot going on, and my head is, going in 20 directions, but yeah, I really feel like something's shifting.
Yeah.
I appreciate your talk. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good. Just follow that.
Yeah.
Follow that. Yeah.
Hey, Lea, I have a question.
Yeah.
Sometimes this stuff comes in and gives us, and we get the guidance. But for me, I don't seem to always stick with it. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm wondering what kind of space you kept around you or within your head or within your whole system that you were able to just kind of follow the path that was laid out before you.
Well, there was something about when I received my medicine name of Thunderbird Heart, there was something about reconnecting with that part of myself from when I was little. And I don't know, some people have seen this picture. I've got a picture. We had horses, and I was always riding bareback on this horse as a little girl. And it was like, I went, oh my gosh, that's me. I mean, I've been Thunderbird Heart my whole life, but I've been, I always felt outside of like I always felt so weird from everybody else. In other words, and I still feel weird. I still feel weird. I think my kids even think I'm weird, but I followed that. I followed the remembering of the things that I remember from deep in myself, of walking this path, this medicine path, the things that felt real familiar to me, and the things that I knew, even though I couldn't really name why I knew these things.
Okay.
Like feeling comfortable doing a sweat lodge, or just general stuff, or feeling comfortable being in circles and being in the woods and being in nature. I just being connected to that. And also I had a real desire to make sure that I didn't leave the planet this time without living out my destiny. I had that deep, and especially as I got older, I'm not afraid to die. Death doesn't scare me. Like, I really don't want to leave right now, but death doesn't scare me. But what scares me is not living out what I'm being called to do at this point, that I leave before I do it. And so I have that real stimulation inside of me. So it's like that, so it's just like staying with whatever's guiding you. And even if you get off track, that you pull yourself back into it and stay holding on to that, I'll say, hold on to that golden thread that's pulling you along,
Thank you.
Welcome. Anybody else? Okay, so I'm going to turn it over. I'm kind of putting Beto on the spot. We haven't really talked about anything, but I'm just going to kind of turn it over to him to do a little bit of teaching before we talk a little bit more about what we're going to do as far as the sacred fire. So Beto, I'm giving it to you.
Thank you, Anyaiki Kuyeki Panajay, Lea. Thank you. Thank you for your teaching. What's very, very nice and powerful connection with yourself, with ourselves as well. This is like everyone we start, with our spiritual path. Everybody of us, we have, the way already clear for us. We have this spiritual path. Everybody of you have your own path, a spiritual path. But it's only sometimes, it's the commitment. Or sometimes it's when we want, a lot of things. We can get a little bit confusions. Sometimes confused to us, they have, taking this and taking this and taking different ways. But the thing is explore, learning. The first thing with that is connecting with ourselves. Connecting is expanding more inside of us the trust. We have to be trusting on ourselves. We don't need it, 100%, remember. 5%, 10% is big for us. This 2%, 1%, you have to be trust a lot. This connection, what you are connect with yourself, and also automatically spiritually is connecting, connecting and putting, into your own spiritual path. The trust, goes in levels. Magically, you are gonna to ascending to the next level. But in the second level, you will see how the connection is expanding. It's going, to farther than you. Exploring these beautiful and pure altars. The moment, when you are gonna to connect, with the Pachamamas, Pachamamitas, Elementos, Apus. This is the moment when you are gonna have, more dreams. You are gonna to remember, remember this, the practices, what you did or what you have in your future. It's coming to you automatically. Sometimes we wish, to connect, but the wish, it's only, some wish. But it's the key, it's connect with yourself. And this is the pure, this is the first tool, the key to connect, with Pachamama and Apus. Always I say, they are coming to you. Perhaps, the first time it's only one. Or perhaps not yet. But still you have to be trusting yourself. Do it, the practices, the little 1%, 2% practice. Because the magic here, the big tool is the practice. It's the practice. It's not a mental thing. It's practice. If you're lifting, these practices, this 1% or 2%, to the levels, you will see this is enough and it's so powerful for you. Because already you are going to receive the connection and the support of the Apus, or Pachamama, or the angels. The connection is going to be, it's big. In that moment, you are going to see it. Automatically, your hands, it's turning big tools for you. Your energy is turning big tool for you. In that moment, you are going to feel, the energy of the trees, for example. Feel the pure energy, the spirit, of the water, of the lake, the mountains. because we have, levels, hierarchies, in the spiritual path. Always we have to be start, from the bottom. The big example, it's like the school, first grade, second grade, fourth, something, ascending. Spiritually is the same. Spiritually the same. If I have still, remember they have you was there or they have you wasn't in the class, of the Mesa teaching, I was explaining hierarchies, levels, and also yourself, you have levels. Your centers, your centers or your chakras, also they are in levels. But always we have to be go slowly, patience, always. Sometimes, this is the human, the human thing. The human thing always we want, to for one step we want to be in the 10th one, already in the 12th one. But spiritually doesn't work like this. Always we have to be go slow. Always, the Apus, Pachamama, the angels smell, smell this, smell, everything about you, your intention, your intentions. What is your intention? If it's only proof, if it's only, plain, we can say it, example, Already they knew about us. Again, we can lie ourselves, but we can lie in them because they have already, clear, clear way of feature, spiritually for us. Every one of us, we have this, we have power. Every one of us, we are very special. We are special, unique. You are a teacher. Every one of you, you are a teacher. But it's only that, we have to be go slowly. Slowly, slowly, slowly. This is, the best recommendation for every one of us. You will see when you are gonna be in the 3rd level, your patience, how it's gonna be increasing, growing big. You are gonna have more patience. Patience, but patience is another tool, it's another power. If you use, the good and the healing way, you will see, how you are gonna heal also. Now, this is, part of the complement of your power, complement of your spiritual mesa, we can say misa, or kuya. Because yourself, it's part of this mesa, or you are part of the Pachamama mesa altar. Us, all of us, all the teachers, we are complement of this, celestial altar, pure light. Or we can say, we are the fruit of this tree, What we bring, sweetness of the power, for feeding, at our brothers and sisters. But I always, my recommendation, for you, it's always, take it easy, breathing, practice, your meditation. It's not only when you have your ceremonies, no, it's every day, every day. The practices are every day. So only, takes, hour, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 hour. But these meditations are, to center yourself. You are gonna to center again. Of course, I am conscious. Everybody will work. everybody, we are exposed, to this negative, energy. The negative radiation, what we have, what we are living today in this world. Always, we have vulnerable about this radiation. But at this one, the meditation every day, or your practices, spiritual practices, it's again, it's protecting, we can say, protecting and connecting with yourself and connecting, with Pachamama and Apus. But with these practices, you are going to live, in the different world, in the different, different space, which is beautiful. It's beautiful. This is, everybody, we are going to start, to writing our own spiritual, history, we can say, as teachers. But it's only, my recommendation, always, smell, breathe, because the sense, your own sense, you have to be spread, This is spread, far. This is the invitation, for the Apus, we can say, Apus and Pachamama. Always, what I'm learning from my teachers. Still, I have teachers. They say, or the philosophies always they say, let, they come, invite, the Apus come to you. This is the best way. This is the best. Don't call, them. If not open, the altar. Serve this beautiful, fest, we can say. Like the meals you prepare for yourself, the same. Open, this table for them. They will respond, they will come into you. But this is, the best way. This is the best. The best. The best way, to continue to walk into your own spiritual path. And then you will feel the sense, You will smell already, the aroma of this Apu or this Pachamama. Remember, always I speak about your own spiritual teacher. Besides, your teacher, I talking about the celestial, the celestial, guide, your support, your protector. That one, please, always slow. Nobody knows, nobody knows more than you, more than me. Always we are, in this level. When you are going to have more support, you will see. The way of the world, it's coming another world for you. But it's important to have, the support and the connection. But sometimes the connection is easy. Like this, you can lose this connection. Today, Apus and Pachamama, they are very sensitive. This is what we don't want to lose this. But of course, the practices they are gonna to teaching, you will learn how to connect again with them. But all it's about the practices. Start to practice, your own spiritual, ceremonies. They have you practice you did before, the fire. They have you start to serve, with cups. You learn from other teachers, Sometimes we forget this, yes? Sometimes, someone have to be coming and say, please do it this. But this is what you have to be take like a habit for you. You know? This one you have to be put in the calendar and say, okay, once a month I will do this ceremony. You know, this ceremony is going to be the complement and connect more, you know, keep, you know, this guide, you know, with you all the time. This is important. But sometimes, you know, like again, you know, the negative, the stress, the work, you know, always makes to forget to us. The ceremony has to be do, you know, with your heart. That's when, you know, I make open your heart. Always, you know, the light is in your heart. Don't make with this, because you are going to confuse a little bit more. The learnings or the practice what you did before, it's not going to be the same. If no, it's going to be coming like a scrambled egg. But always, you know, prepare, open your heart. This is the best way to connect with them. And this is, you know, the table like I was talking about, you know, the feast. It's open your heart. You will feel, you know, pain, you will feel everything, but this is, you know, when you are opening this, you know, you are preparing this beautiful, you know, feast for them. For this is only, you know, the big recommendation, it's living in relax, living in harmony with yourself, love, happiness, smile, all these principles. Everybody we have, you know, these principles. You know, everybody, you are, you know, you have. It's just in front of you, all these tools for us. Practice. It's only the practice is going to make to you and lifting to you to the levels high. Please. And you will see how beautiful it's going to be from today, you know, if you start to practice, you know. Just make the proof, you know, practice, you know, 4 weeks, you know. In the next month, just approve yourself, how your life, you know, change, how your daily life change, how your spiritual path, you know, open, or how your ceremonies change it, you know, shifting, you know, and the power or change in the second or lifting high in the other level. And also, you know, the prayers, the orations, what you are going to start to do, you will see. Also, it's more connected. You will feel, you know, these vibrations. You will feel, you know, also when you are disconnected, when your prayers, your oration is going just, you know, not far. Make this, you know, this is the commitment. Takes, you know, 4 weeks. And then prove yourself and testing yourself. How you make your shiftings, you know, in all your practices. Like my friend, you know, we say in our Quechua word Pacomasi, you know, another teacher, Raimundo, always says something is going to change, you know, something is going to change in the energy or everything. This one. But please, my highly recommendation, don't work with this. Work with your heart. You have this big tool for you. this is my sharing with you. Thank you so much, dear sister, dear brother, for your patience, for your time, and for your heart. Anyaikichis kuyaikichis.
Does anybody have any questions or anything before we start closing? Peggy?
Not a question, but I just want to say how extremely grateful I am for both of you. This is a beautiful, beautiful experience tonight, and I thank you deeply for it.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here and that we've met.
Me too. Me
Thank
too. I appreciate you telling your journey, you know, because there's, as we've talked, there's so much of your journey and my journey that have been so similar over the time. And so yeah, thank you.
Well, it's more important. It did feel a little weird. You know, it's a short version. A lot of stuff happened in between all that, but it felt, you know, I think like you said, you can relate, and I think many others can relate within their own, and to trust that and to trust it, you know, that's the thing, just to trust it. But anyway, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, Leah.
Hi, girl.
Hey.
Hey.
So good to be here. Very grateful to you for sharing your story, and to Beto. Thank you so much, Beto. Always such a dear blessing to be here. I feel so grateful to have made it to the fire this time. But I just felt like coming here today, I just felt like a lot of peace and connection, and it is a really sacred place to come and share in this experience of synchronicity and serendipity and everything that's coming through, because it is true, it is real. And what I know is that we have been removed as people from our lineages, and it is time now that we are reconnecting with that lineage, and it's coming through me personally, and from the Apus and from the Nustas, and working with these energies have been very powerful. And something that is also very powerful is self-doubt and shame, and feeling unable to step into that realm because I don't have the training, or I haven't done this journey, or I haven't been to this power spot. And for myself personally, this message from you, Leah, is very timely, and something that's been coming through for me is to teach and to share my story, and to offer that to the world. And I just keep praying, how is it that I do that? And what's come through to me is to make an offering for that material wisdom to come through. So that's what I'm working on now. And I just, over the last few weeks, I have been denying myself the natural right that I have to speak my truth. So I'm working to speak what I know and speak my wisdom from my heart rather than from my mind. And I think that's where, we transition from being a student to being somebody who can share, because we share from the heart. So now the sharing is coming from my heart, and I really appreciate the opportunity to share. Thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you. In January, I couldn't have done this because the shadow would say, you're not doing it right, or you're not speaking clearly, or you're not using the right language. And now all I'm doing is just talking and not worrying about it, and knowing it's not perfect. And, there's probably things I left out, but you just have to now's the time just to dive in, and you have a lot to share. And I support you, my friend.
Thank you, my sister.
Yes. I'm glad you were here. I'm glad you came in. Yeah. Anybody else?
Toro chai, nanya chai, anyaki kuyaki for this lesson tonight, and this beautiful balance here in this balanced moment tonight. I just appreciate it so much. And to have the message just shower you again and again of trusting and opening the heart. And I just wanted to reflect back, like the two things that were so amazing. First of all, Thunderbird heart. Oh my God, it's pretty beautiful. And the fruit of the tree as nourishment for our brothers and sisters. Like I love that. So thank you, Don Beto. I love that so much. As well as the idea of opening our hearts as a feast for the Apus and Pachamama, you know, like make of our heart, make of ourselves, you know, food and the feast for the nature beings and for our Ayu. So I appreciate that. It feels very, just a beautiful imagery in this, you know, celebration of the harvest in the autumn, at least up here in the northern hemisphere, and the balancing of the day and night, and the masculine and the feminine, and the Pachamamas and the Pachamamitas and the Apus. So thank you for that beautiful imagery. That's going to be fruit for my nourishment. So thank you.
Yeah. Good.
Wanyeki
I'm so glad
kuyeki
you're here.
panachai.
And we are all Kuyas on Pachamama. Just think about that. Just think about that one. Really. Moving around in your life, that we are the Kuyas walking around doing this work. Anybody else? So before I've got a poem that I want to read. So this is what I'm thinking. I'm holding the sacred fire is burning. And like I said, we will, when we do put the fire out, there'll be a ceremonial circle to put the fire out. But it's not time to put the fire out right now. But what I am thinking, especially during this fall time, is that we gather every other week instead of every week. So that gives more space in between, some rest, some time, some, you know, reflection, doing our work. And right now going forward, what Alberto and I, because we are called to walk this place of the masculine, the feminine, the eagle, and the condor, we will be holding the space for now. And so we'll be coming in every other week doing teachings that he and I talk about to support us on this birthing process that we're in, this place of the womb, of the letting go, of the dying, of the going through and coming out on the other side. And those of us that have had children, I just keep feeling like I'm birthing a baby over here. I mean, I don't know if I'm really feeling that and sensing that. So what do y'all, I mean, how do y'all feel about the every other week? Everybody will get emails and notices and all that. And I'll talk about, you know, if we're clear before we get here about what we're going to be speaking about, I'll be naming that. So how do y'all feel about that? Just give me a, okay. And like I said, I'm open for emails of suggestions or anything. So you know, anything y'all want to email me about what you need or what you'd like to see or anything. This is your sacred fire. You know, this is, we're just holding the container of support so we can all get through this to the other side, to what's being birthed here. Okay, good. So right now, I'm just looking at the calendar and I'll put it out there. We'll gather again on the 6th. I think that's right. I think I'm looking at that right. So we'll gather again on October the 6th. Okay, so I'm going to read a poem. I love this poem. I might have already read it one time, but I've got to read it again. It was a big one for me. Pam, you were asking me about, you know, this journey, and it's one that Cater Brown wrote, and it's called Follow Your Name. And The poem is, pay attention, pay attention. Be careful not to distract yourself from yourself by focusing on the obstacles in your life. Focus on the delivery of your medicine, not on the stories in your head, where you recount your limitations and loss. To indulge in such self-importance is to avoid taking responsibility for your medicine and the gift of healing that you came here to offer. You are the heroes and the heroines of your own story. If you are not initiated into the bone memory, into the mythology of your own life, you will likely be living an existence that is not entirely your own. The life you know you must live is the one standing just a few paces in front of you, looking back over its shoulder with eyes wide, waiting for you to remember. Apprentice yourself to yourself and move to the frontier of your own imagination, the place where you live the absence of story, the place where the sharp edges of this unfolding moment demand your full attention. Where are you? Here. Who are you? This moment. Pay attention. Pay attention. Do not appear in the world in such a way that others give you a name. That is too small for you. A Nike Kuyaki. Aho. Ah.
And one more thing, Panachai,
Okay.
I can compliment, about this beautiful, ceremony what we have it this night. Please, before you walk away from your own seat, closing your eyes, to complement, connect more, you are gonna to calling, the Pachamama from your own place and give it your gratitude, and give it, presentate, the feast, your heart, the table, introduce your full name, and say, this is for you. Please don't forget your full name, Pachamamita, For example, North Carolina, Asheville, Apu Manchester. This is the feast for you. Receive that. I am serving to you. If you wanna ask, compliment, some special, requesting for your spiritual path, please welcome. When you finish, thank you. Thank you. If you want, you can say Anyaiki Kuyaiki. So it's your own choice. Okay? Please, closing your eyes, you can start right now. Pachamamita, hatung mama. Kami kangi mama linde kancha. Kami kangi chisajak mama. No kaiku paparurukuna kang manta mamita linda. Kang yamuna itaya mama linda. Ang kipi sirbiki ki mamita linda. No kakama entre kaikuiki. Hanak pachay kanchak mama. Muna itaya ukuna. Kami kangi papalinda Ausangate. No kawawaiki. Ang Alberto Fernandez Santa Cruz. Ang kinyanyikipi. Urini papito lindo. Kichaiku ang kia papalinda. Kicharinkia ya pangankigo ikikunama. Estados Unidos, Manchester. Just mama, hatung mama. Kami kanki yacha, kami kanki palala. Kami kanki meresino mamayay. Rasya sa nyay kiniki. Manyay kuikikuya, munaita. Purichiway kuya, nyanyikipi. Eperiway kuya, yachay nikipi. Spiritual yachay nikipi, kalpay kipi. Connection ikiwan ya. Jake and Jaywan ya. Huspa, mamita linda. Conectaikuspa, purisa, ñañikipi. Yana paiku ankikuya. Siempre puni, poplaruma pantaiku. Chimpantaiku naya, amaya, hamuchunchu. Kami mamita linda, chay pantaiku namanta, kami protegi kiwanki. Llapan anki waiki kunata. Chashka mama killa mama. Kampes munaitaya. Muhuikita mihurusaiku. Kanchainikita, ruruikita, chay frutaikita. No kaiku, mama linda. Alimentakunaikupaj. Anki ñampaj purinaypaj, soportanaykupaj, purinaykupaj. Hayaya añaykiku yayki. Gracias. Panachay Dora, buenas noches. ¿Cómo está Panachay?
Buenas noches, hermano. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Todo bien?
Placer de verte, Panachay.
Un gusto verte también. Gracias.
I'm so glad you were here, Dora. Thank you for coming around the fire on the equinox. Perfect.
Absolutely.
Sweet dreams, everybody. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Tupananchis kama, everyone.
Tu Pananchis kama, Panachay.
Tupananchis kama.
Bendiciones, Panachay.
Thank you both so much.
No. So glad you were here, Pam. I love it.
Me too.
I love it. Mwah.
Happy equinox, everyone.
Panachay.
Happy equinox.
Panachay.
Thank you, Alberto. Leo.
Panachay.
Good
Thank you.
night.
Thank you, Beto. Thank you, Lea.
Good night, Carol.
Practice, Panachay, practice.
Deborah, I hope you come back.
Thank you.
You're
Yes.
on my list now.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Bye.
Hi.
Vanessa.
So I thank you.
Waikiki.